Hey everyone, today we're going to be making chicken soup and lentil soup. The chicken soup is clearly not vegan, but the lentil soup is vegan. So we're going to start with the chicken soup today. I have about 4 large carrots that I've cut and peeled into about 3 to 4 inch chunks. Those are going in the pot. I have 1 stalk of celery that I've peeled. When I say peeled, all I mean is that I've taken some of the strings out, and then I've washed it, cut it into 3 to 4 inch chunks as well. Those are going in. And 1 medium-sized onion peeled and voila, cut in half. Going in. Everybody in the pool? Yes? Okay. Last thing. You don't have to use chicken thighs, but these were on sale, so I bought them. There is probably about 3 pounds here. They are skinless, but bone in. We want the bones. Bones make good broth. So just trim any of the skin. If you don't have 3 pounds of chicken, I highly recommend getting... Hi Nana, you're in the video. Hold on. Thanks, Nana. 3 pounds chicken, skinless, bone in. Doesn't matter what kind. You can use breasts, you can use thighs, you can use legs. Use a whole chicken. It doesn't matter. As long as you take the skin off and leave the bones on, you're good. Everybody in the pool. Voila. Okay, I'm going to go cover all of this with cold water. Cold water is a definite need. Don't use hot water. You start cooking your chicken. Little Bear, you can pause for now and then... Okay, so I filled my big stock pot with water, probably about 2 inches below. I don't know if you can see in my big old stock pot. My 11-year-old is videotaping. Thanks, Little Bear. So we have it set with cold, cold water. Now I'm going to throw in a good tablespoon of salt. We want to make sure those chicken breast, thighs, whatever you're using, is getting some good flavor. And then we're going to put a good pinch of pepper in. Don't sneeze. And then we're going to turn it on. High, 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 guys, okay? We want it to boil. You want to bring it to a boil and then turn it down to a simmer. And this is going to simmer for about an hour to an hour and a half until that chicken starts pulling off the bone. And I will get you guys a video of what it looks like when we're about to go fishing. That's what I like to call it. So we pull all the vegetables out after it's done boiling, and then, or simmering. We pull all the vegetables out after it's done simmering. And then what we do is we strain the broth. I always strain my broth. I like it to be very clear of different things. And then I go ahead and cut up some pasta and put it in there. So we'll get to that later. But for right now, bring it to a boil and then turn it down to a simmer. I'm going to try and get a little closer here for you. And you can see that the chicken is starting to float at the top. And the veggies are all floating. And it's still kind of simmering. I just turned it off a few minutes ago. But what I'm going to do now is my fishing expedition. Hooray! So I'm going to let my Little Bear take over here for a second so you can see what I use to fish. And it's quite an interesting tool that I picked up. Y'all, it's just a handheld pasta strainer. I think it's like Jada. It says Joseph on it. I don't know. I found it at the store. Home Goods, or I don't remember, someplace. So we're going to use our big spoon and a big pair of what my family likes to call the giant tweezers, really just a pair of tongs. I'm getting a giant bowl right now. Can you hear me clanking around in the kitchen here? And what I'm going to do is just start pulling the chicken out. And you'll see that it's so very nicely cooked. You can see that it's just pulling off the bone there. The vegetables are so soft that they're just falling apart. The whole onion has fallen apart. Can you see this, Little Bear?
Can I get a little closer?
Yep. So like the veggies are just falling apart. And of course Maple's trying to get anything that falls out. Her MO. She's like, oh, do I smell chicken? Really, Maple? No licking your chops. Get out of here. Oh, and there goes a piece of chicken that just fell off the bone. So literally I'm just going in here and pulling all of this out of here. It's nicely cooked. It's been about an hour and a half, and you will see that once I pull all of this out of here, the broth is just naturally what you get. Don't expect this broth to be yellow like when you throw a chicken bouillon in some hot water and you get that really yellow, salty broth. That's not what this is at all, which is why I told y'all to salt it, because otherwise it's just gonna taste like chicken juice. And while that's delicious, you do need a little bit of salt to bring out all those flavors. Well, my glasses just fogged up from the steam of this pot. Okay, I think I've done all of it. We'll swirl my my lovely little pasta strainer handheld in here real quick just to see if I get any other chunks. Got a little onion in there. Maple, go away. You're not getting any. Not for dogs. She's so goofy. So I'm going to let this pot cool before I put it through my actual celery from the rest of the stuff that we fished out of our soup. Now I'm going to go ahead and break down the chicken really quickly, and you see I have a clean bowl and then my bowl with my onions and my chicken still in there. So I'm going to show you how I do a few pieces, and then I'm just going to do the other pieces so you don't have to watch all of that, but I just pull it apart by hand. That's one of the reasons why I take it out of the soup first, and you can see it just pulls right off the bone, and I just pull it clear off just like that and throw the bones back in. So this way, when we're ready to make our soup with the noodles, we have all of our chicken in there ready to go, and it's clearly it's cool enough for me to just pull it off with my fingers. And you know, the reason why I fish it all out ahead of time is so that I can do this. I don't really like taking the chicken out and then pulling it apart with forks. Some people do that. I like to make sure that I'm pulling off any of the big fat pieces that might be still stuck on there, or that I make sure that I'm not putting any of the bone pieces. Frequently there are more spindly type bones in the legs than there are in the thighs, so just want to make sure we're not putting any of that in here and nobody bites into it. The pieces on the bottom will be a little hotter because they've been sitting in the broth, but just be careful and go ahead and pull it all apart just like that. I think I have one or two more pieces left in here. And typically with the onion, I just throw it away. Nobody eats the onion from the soup, so I typically just use it to flavor the broth as we boil, and then I will toss it. The doggy can't have it. Onions are bad for dogs. I'm actually surprised she's not over here right now trying to steal a piece of chicken or sit between me and the counter. She usually does. And here we go. Oh, I missed a piece on that one. Here we go. Last piece, and you will see just that these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 thighs. Ow, that's really hot. This piece is still steaming. Whew. Ooh, look, see, I even left a little piece of bone on this one. We better take that off. You'll see that it makes for quite a bit of chicken. And then you just shred this up. Use your hands and get in there. This can be a job for the kiddos, you know. Let them get in there and break it all apart and make sure they're bite-sized pieces, because when that broth is strained and we have our pasta going, we're going to drop some of this chicken back in. Now, you don't have to use all the chicken, and I typically don't. I typically will reserve part of this chicken and then go ahead and make either chicken salad or chicken quesadillas with the leftovers for the kids, and they love that. They absolutely think it's delicious because you have all this yummy cooked chicken. And honestly, this is too much broth that we made from earlier that has slightly cooled through the strainer just to catch any big pieces of anything we may have missed when we went fishing. And then this way we'll be ready for dinner later. You can see I'm just carefully pouring it. If you don't feel comfortable to pour it, use a ladle. Don't burn yourself. It's still pretty hot. Be very careful. I'm just straining the whole pot through. See, we get all those little pieces at the end. Pot's empty. Pull this right up. And I'm going to show you what's left in my strainer here, just so you can see. It's just the little gunkies that get left on the bottom from the bone and the little pieces of onion, some of it's pepper. And I don't want that in my soup. I'm particular, guys. I'm really sorry. Not really, because I want to do it right. So now we have our strained broth, our chicken all broken up beautifully, our carrots and our celery, and later, after we play in the snow, I will have the kids break up the pasta so you can see how we do that. And then they will feast. And break the pieces. So we break our spaghetti into little pieces. Little Bear's gonna do this whole pound because he's got bigger muscles than I do. And he likes doing this anyway. If Maple comes over and starts biting the spaghetti, don't give her any. Alright, I'm gonna move in a little closer for you so you can see what Little Bear's doing here.
We're gonna have some pieces that are.
And if you don't like longer noodles in your chicken noodle soup, you can go ahead and use shorter noodles, elbow macaroni, rice, whatever you like. Okay, everyone, hello, welcome. We are finishing up our chicken soup here, and my dog is like waiting for me to drop something. I don't know if Little Flower can get a shot of this, but she's just waiting. Maple, sit. Good girl, you're still not getting chicken. Just stay right there. Okay, so we had taken out and fished out all of our chicken and our vegetables. And then Little Bear and Little Flower broke up our pound of spaghetti. So you can see that here. Nice little pieces that we got going on. We took about half of the chicken and a few of the vegetables and reserved it. We're going to put a lid on that and stick that in the fridge because we're going to make sure those go into quesadillas or something later this week. Easy dinner, ready to go. And then we have the remaining part of our chicken that we went ahead and reserved. Maple's just waiting for me to drop a piece. And then we took most of our vegetables and cut them up like this. So my grandmother, my Nonna, she would... Oh, Maple just got a carrot.
That's what happens when
You're welcome, Maple. So my Nonna would, she would smash these up with a fork instead of cutting them up like this, but we cut them up. And we're not going to put these in till the pasta's almost cooked. So we have our, ooh, I touched that, that was very hot. We have our pot going and it's boiling. So I'm going to drop in the pasta. There we go. And the chicken. So the chicken can get nicely warmed back through. Okay, y'all, my camera people left me. They are downstairs with Dad. Dad has the day off for a snow day, and so here I am all by my lonesome finishing the soup for dinner. But just wanted to show you the soup has been brought to a boil, and now we have these beautifully cooked noodles, and the chicken is all heated through. So what I'm gonna do real quick is just add in the rest of our veggies very carefully. Again, this is boiling hot, so we want to be really careful just to kind of nudge them over the edge and not be in the SeaWorld splash zone. There go 2 carrots. Oh, man overboard. Okay, so I'm going to pop these ones back in here. 1 and 2. And we're just going to let that heat through for a couple seconds, and then we're going to serve it up. Yum. Okay, y'all, I'm just going to serve it up real quick. Just turn this off. It's very, very hot, so you want to be careful going in here with the ladle, but just look at those noodles and this broth. Oh, so good. Make sure the kids get some carrots in there. Especially Little Flower, she loves the carrots. Okay. So, Little Flower, do you want cheese? She says yes. We're going to sprinkle a good... My kids tend to like it. All of them, even the furry one whose nose is right here. I know you can see that. They tend to like it when the cheese melts just a little bit over the pasta. And then they can scrape it off the bottom of the bowl with their bread. So I hope you guys enjoy your chicken noodle soup, but there it is. Mmm, yum yum.